Welcome to Where Shade Hits the Pavement, a one-day green and blue urban planning and development summit brought to you by Citygreen in conjunction with the Australian Institute of Landscape Architects, Griffith University's Cities Research Institute, and Green Infrastructure Research Labs, Greener Spaces, Better Places, and Which Plant Where. My name is Rob Garland. I'm a senior consultant with Citygreen. So why Where Shade Hits the Pavement? Historically, there has been a disconnect between policy on tree canopy targets and on-the-ground implementation at every level. This event was created to provide a forum to discuss the challenges and how to overcome them. The topics and the themes we'll address here today are ones that are close to our heart. We fully believe that the more we can foster collaboration between urban designers, engineers, stormwater managers, legislators, the better the outcomes we can deliver for our cities and our communities. To get proceedings underway, we're very honoured to call upon Brisbane Lord Mayor Representative Councillor Tracy Davis, Civic Cabinet Chair for Environment, Parks and Sustainability and Councillor for McDowell Ward in Brisbane City. Tracy will deliver an acknowledgement of country and provide some opening remarks on today's event. Tracy.
Well, thank you very much for that introduction and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Can I start by acknowledging this country and its traditional custodians and pay my respects to the elders, those who have passed into the dreaming, those here today and those of tomorrow. Well, it's certainly lovely to join you here at the 2024 Where Shade Hits the Pavement event on behalf of our Lord Mayor Adrian Schrinner, who unfortunately is unable to join you today, but sends his apologies and of course wishes you a very successful event. Can I also acknowledge Citygreen for organising this fantastic summit. I can tell already just from the conversations that I was having outside with some of the presenters today that it's going to be an amazing gathering with lots of information shared and new knowledge learnt. I'm also delighted that Citygreen decided to host the summit here in Brisbane, which is not only Australia's fastest growing capital city, but is also a world leader in sustainability. We are very proud that Brisbane is the first and only Australian city to receive silver and now gold certification as part of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals program, and that Brisbane City Council has been carbon neutral since 2016. We are very pleased that as an organisation, our commitment to sustainability has been recognised because instead of just talking about sustainability, Brisbane City Council actually aims to deliver real and practical sustainable outcomes across all of the work that we do. Brisbane City Council's work is guided by 4 overarching goals as part of Brisbane Clean, Green and Sustainable strategy, which was updated and re-released at the end of last year, because we want Brisbane to become an adaptive city that takes real and practical action to deliver a low carbon and climate resilient city. We want a city with clean air, clean waterways and clean energy, a green city that is well designed, is shady and biodiverse, and a city with world-class outdoor areas, walkable infrastructure and sustainable innovation. And looking at the summit program, as I said, it looks like some of these goals may in fact be discussed over the course of the summit, especially in developing sustainable and resilient urban green spaces. For those of you who flew into Brisbane to attend the event, you might have seen through the rain that Brisbane really is a very green and blue city. We are so lucky to have forests within walking distance of our CBD. We've also got 4,000 kilometres of creeks and waterways, including the Brisbane River, which is not quite so blue, but nonetheless a very significant landmark feature which has shaped the development of our city. And although it's a little bit wet at the moment, I do hope you do have the opportunity to have a little time to explore the city, and that might include dropping into our award-winning Hanlon Park, where we transformed a section of the Norman Creek by removing an ugly old concrete drain, and in its place we created a revegetated natural waterway with shade plantings and new active transport connections. Not only did this project deliver a new and enhanced public space in a growing inner city precinct, but the project also produced enormous other benefits as well, including waterway health, biodiversity and climate resilience. The flooding that occurred there has improved. We know that wildlife and fish are returning, and pleasingly this project has been nationally recognised as a very transformative project. But there is more work being done right across our city right now, with Council's three largest capital projects all focused on delivering new sustainable infrastructure for Brisbane's future. We've recently delivered a new active transport bridge at Breakfast Creek, and we're very close to completing another active transport bridge across the Brisbane River, which will connect our CBD to Kangaroo Point. And at the end of the year, we'll deliver the Brisbane Metro, which will transform the way that public transport interfaces with our inner city. So the Metro is 100% battery electric and will be powered by Brisbane's biggest ever solar system, which is being built at a state-of-the-art depot in the suburb of Rochdale. So for those that don't know Brisbane, that's in our city's south. At Victoria Park, we've commenced the delivery of a fantastic master plan, and I'm very proud to have carriage of that. That also includes rewilding the former golf course into 64 hectares of urban green space, and this will create Brisbane's almost like Central Park. That's what it will be. And we'll be increasing the tree canopy from 10%, which it currently is, up to 60%. So we're very keen to make sure that Victoria Park is a place that's shady and that people will always want to visit, not only locals, but those coming to visit our city from interstate and from overseas. And it's already attracting a lot of attention. Those of you who are locals to Brisbane will know that. But if you do have some time, can I recommend that you go to Victoria Park just to see how it's starting. It's in its early stages, but you can see where we're heading with it. But as well as building sustainable infrastructure for the future, we are continuing to deliver a range of initiatives to enhance Brisbane's natural values. Excitingly, we've just announced a new partnership between Brisbane Sustainability Agency, which is a subsidiary of Council, with Greening Australia to deliver the Biodiverse Brisbane initiative. And this is a first for Brisbane and the largest of its type in the country. And what that aims to do is plant 1 million new native plants across about 500 hectares of urban riparian habitat by 2032. And that's important because it also complements our long-standing commitment to establish 40% natural habitat cover across mainland Brisbane, and we are nearly there at 38.9%, and we're still counting. It is important to note that this is just mainland Brisbane. It doesn't include Moreton Island. If we did, of course, we would be well over 40% by now. As a council, we recognise that street and park trees and landscaping play a vital role in providing shade to pedestrian pathways and public spaces, not only helping to combat the urban heat island effect, but also in improving air quality. And we know that by providing natural shade, we make our city more accessible and connected. And that's why a pillar of our Walkable Brisbane strategy is targeting 50% natural shade cover over our active transport network by 2031. We already plant around 13,000 new street trees each year, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that over the last decade we have established millions of new trees across the entire city through a long-running offsets and restoration program. We are also, for those that don't live here in Brisbane, home to Australia's oldest free native plants program, and that's all about incentivising households to establish their own gardens to connect habitat and to help cool our city. I know you're here to talk about planning for the future, and I think it's important as part of that that we also look to Brisbane's long history of sustainable practices from which we can learn quite a lot. And this sustainability legacy is clear both in Brisbane's architectural vernacular and also the design of our public spaces to reflect our subtropical climate. So even in the earliest town plans, a significant provision for public parkland was made, also for natural reserves and waterway corridors, so that our city could keep healthy and connected through our natural environment. And now, even in the day of universal air conditioning, we continue to embrace innovative subtropical design to help keep our homes cool, our streets walkable, and to make our city more resilient. Through our planning regime and our sustainable growth strategy, which we released last year, Brisbane recognises the role of the private sector in keeping the city cool and green by incentivising the construction of buildings that breathe and are complemented by deep plantings and cool outdoor spaces. The strategy also emphasises that planning for well-designed housing with appropriate access to transport and facilities is critical to ensuring Brisbane remains a highly livable, affordable and sustainable place for current and future generations. And unlike many cities around the world, we work to accommodate growth in a way that does not reduce green space. Under our city plan, Council aims to ensure that every Brisbane resident is within easy walking distance to a park. So as Brisbane starts to grow up, not out, we can actually create more green space, not less. And while it can be challenging to find new parkland in the inner city because it is mature in its development, it is important to remember that some of Brisbane's most iconic green spaces have in fact been reclaimed former industrial sites, and one of those, of course, is South Bank Parklands. Looking around our city today, there's still a lot of potential though, and unlocking this potential is something that I'm sure we will continue to look at while we plan for a very big event that's coming our way in 2032. But we're also planning for legacy beyond that, and I'm genuinely excited about the opportunity that presents for our city. So, ladies and gentlemen, with those few remarks, I'd like again to thank Citygreen for choosing Brisbane to host this year's event, and to you for attending. I'm sure that there will be some great conversations today. You've got some wonderful speakers, as I said earlier, and how we deal with making sure that our cities remain green and livable as we get bigger. So can I wish you all the very best for today. I hope it's an enlightening and engaging summit for you all. Thank you very much for your time.